That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Comic Reviews. I'm Sid Part 2, and I've got a huge stack of comics today, plus a trade that will remain a mystery unless you could see the cover very clearly as I moved it around. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into it with the last thing I read, which is a book I picked up off the shelf. It's called Predator, Life and Death, or Life and Death Predator. I don't really know what Life and Death Predator would be, but whatever. The start of a new story cycle in the tradition of Fire and Stone, which I didn't read. Part 1 of 17 of Life and Death, but it says Part 1 of 4 on the thing. This story takes place approximately 43 years after the events in the motion picture Aliens, and just over a year after the events of Fire and Stone, which once again I didn't read. Okay, so we have colonial space marines land on a planet because of some kind of, space politics interests of private corporations. And they're there's some weird readings when they're trying to land on the planet. They couldn't quite see everything, but they landed. They're investigating and find a big ship, and then they start getting picked off by predators. And seriously, just the last couple pages are predators starting to take them out after after the Marines found a ship. And so we got the last page, 2 predators standing over some dead Marines, and the blue guy there's get some, recording, because predators are cheeky bastards. Anyway, so this is an interesting idea because it's something I'm sure they've done it before, but I've just never been the one to find it. I've always been really curious about the Space Marines, or just the Wayland corporations and stuff finding or coming across predators. Because, they do all this work to find alien xenomorphs, and try to control them and all that bullcrap. But, those are just basically big bugs. They're very animalistic. They're not intelligent on a, they're very smart animals, but they're still animals. They don't have a rational mind, let's say. Whereas predators are very sentient. That's the word I'm looking for. Predators are sentient beings. So I'd be curious how the Wayland Corporation would react to it, and just how predators would react to, space encounters with sentient beings that they didn't specifically start to go after to hunt. Just, it's an interesting dynamic. And that's pretty much what we have going on here, is just the beginnings of that. I'm a little confused on exactly what the rating for this is. Because it seems like they're trying to make it a little bit more all ages by not having the Marines curse. And there's a pretty clever device they use to make the Marines not curse, or at least not curse very much. In that there's a Wayland Corporation person on board, and they're all supposed to be on their best behavior and not use colorful language over the comms. So there's a great little interaction where they're talking over the radio, and there's it's a lander, a tractor unit, busted up to considerably damaged. Right. I just really like that. It's kind of clever dialogue, and it's pretty well written. Makes me want to go back and watch Aliens, and Predator 1 and 2. Probably Predators. I'll throw Predators in there too. Yeah. Pretty good book. If you I just saw it on the stands. I like Predator, and since it said 1 of 4, I figured I'd add it to my list. So I'll be talking about this for however long it's going to go on for, whether that be 4 issues or 17 issues. We'll see. Let's go ahead and move on to Darth Vader number 17. God, this book. I'm in love with this right now. It's just all over the place with the subterfuge and the like. There's the face of war, and then there's all this double-crossing stuff going on behind the scenes, and that's fantastic. And we even get an origin for the no disintegrations line to Boba Fett and the rest of the bounty hunters. So anyway, they're still dealing with this civil war on this mining planet. And they come under attack, and so Vader and these mechanical twins kind of board the ship and just frickin' destroy it. Just cut big old holes in it with their lightsabers and, let it sink. There's a subtle little touch that I'm not sure what they're getting at. So, they board the ship and they cut holes in it to let in, magma. And one of the girls one of the cyborgs that's cutting the holes on a different deck says, "How are we going to escape?" And he goes, "By leaving the ship swiftly. If you are incapable of that, it is no concern of mine." And then Vader heads out, and the twins actually get out and on board the escape ship before him. And he goes, "You are swifter than I thought." And they just show this one panel of Darth Vader's cape catching on fire from touching the magma. And I'm not quite sure what they're getting at with that. I get the impression that it's about him losing his step. Him not being the golden boy Jedi that Anakin Skywalker was before he betrayed the Jedi. I don't know. That was just an interesting little thing to me. There's a lot of subterfuge, which I won't spoil, but it's just great to see. But Vader put a bounty out on Dr. Aphra after she got taken onto the Millennium Falcon, and a bounty hunter shows him, a pile of disintegrated bones. He's like, "I had to use a disintegrator." I'm like, and Vader goes, "This is not the girl." "It is. I wouldn't lie to you. You would. You did. This is not a mistake one repeats, bounty hunter." And he chokes him to death. "Dispose of the bodies. Ensure the others understand B-Box's mistake. Find her." I just love that. Just there's your no disintegrations line. He doesn't have the patience for it. If you're going to bring him someone dead, that's fine. But he needs to be able to see that they're dead. And him not wanting them disintegrated isn't about being able to check. It's about how do I put this? It's about delivering him quality, because a disintegrator is too easy, and it reeks of trying to get one over on Darth Vader, which is really clever. Yeah, I really, really like this. This is just a great freaking book, and I honestly cannot recommend this enough. If you're a Darth Vader fan or a Star Wars fan, you should definitely be reading this. It all takes place between episodes 4 and 5, too, so it's just kind of neat to see how much of a turn Vader goes through in that film, or in between those films, because, you look at it, and Darth Vader's a glorified henchman in the first movie, but then he's like the villain of the second movie, and he's redeemed in the third movie, so it's kind of neat to see how that carries through. Batman Beyond, number 10. Picking up a little bit. I said I'd give it to 12, so we'll see. Anyway, you have Tim fighting splicers, and he's getting his ass kicked. but making fun of him the whole time. And then you have the Justice League being woken up, but immediately hypnotized by an elephant splicer, because he's got some kind of orb that lets him hypnotize people. And then even though Terry was getting his ass kicked by the splicers, the remnants of the Justice League are thrown at him. And they explain how the Justice League, what's left of them, are still alive and not cyborgs by saying that they were artificial constructs created to demoralize the populace. As for Micron's stories, false memories and perceptions implanted to shield the truth. I like myself a Batman versus Justice League fight just as much as the next guy. But if you're gonna kill the Justice League to show how big a threat your shitty villain is, then they have to actually kill the Justice League! The idea of having Batman be one of the last superheroes and having that version of Batman be Tim Drake in this future that is just absolutely post-apocalyptic horrible is brilliant. How they're executing it is a friggin' nightmare of just complete and utter incompetent writing. I am getting so frustrated with this book. This issue is at least fun and kind of cool, Tim Drake makes some good quips about the splicers, and you got the Justice League showing up, and it's fun to see Batman fighting the Justice League. It's more fun to see Batman beating the Justice League when he fights them, but I'm not going to ask for too much from this book. It was cool to see the what's his name, the Green Lantern. I can never remember that kid's name. Oh, he's not much of a kid anymore. I don't know. This is just highly disappointing. They act like Barda kills him at the end. She doesn't. Matt screams, "One chance, Drake, C3, C3," and then she energy blasts him, so he survived somehow. I don't know. I kind of want to get these cereal boxes that are advertising on the back. Sorry, I'll stay on point. What's up with no Wonder Woman cereal box? The fuck? Nah, it's a Batman Superman movie. That's okay for now. But when Wonder Woman comes out, she needs her own cereal box. Yeah, I don't know. This is just a nightmare of poorly conceived. Like they don't seem to know where they're going with this stuff, and that annoys me because to retcon 10 issues in is a problem. I don't know. 2 more issues, we'll see how it goes. If it picks back up, if I hear people talking about it like it's getting good, I might try it again. But 2 more issues to turn this around and impress me. We'll see what happens. DC Comics Bombshells number 10. Their lives are in his hands. Not really, but okay. So Wonder Woman gives a really kick-ass speech in this. Because she's got basically everybody, all these survivors in a cave, and half of them are Nazis and half of them are, injured soldiers. And she goes, and you got Nazi zombies outside. She says, listen to me. This is what you have chosen, this chaos, this conflagration. You turned your backs on your people because you would not accept that all humankind, beyond land, beyond race, beyond faith, were still your people. Blind, wretched, hateful, that you could look on your fellow creatures and see strangers, see enemies. You chose hate, and now you are the allies and servants of death, and you have made him your master. Is this what you desire? Corpses, rot, oblivion? Are you willing to bring forth this hell all to hold on to your petty hatred, your love of killing, of cruelty, of thinking yourselves noble and righteous men? Is this what you would leave your children? Surrender, submit to me, and redeem yourselves for what you have made of your world. And they do, and then they are able to rally together and defeat the Nazi zombies. I really like that. That's just really, really good. So the Tenenbaum are making an assault on London, and the rest of this issue is just about Kathy Kane, Selena Degatti, and Huntress Helena. I can't remember her last name. Dealing with Nazis in Germany, escaping from Berlin, and freeing some refugees as well. Jews. Though there is one moment of Selena Kyle's that I really, really liked. Because she's been, like, really vague. She made out with Lex Luthor in this issue, and it's like, oh my god, is she a Nazi conspirator or whatever? So, like, she comes through at the last minute and saves everyone, reveals, blows her cover, basically. And she says, "You didn't think I'd let the party end at the stroke of midnight, did you? More likely to be the stroke of the guillotine. If the Nazis don't take my head for betraying the Notch and his Tenenbaum, the Vinci will take it for doing that to a Coco Chanel evening gown." And what she does is she rips the gown and picks up a whip, and then she's, proper Catwoman. I just really like that. That's really funny to me. That's great. Anyway, so then they go and Zatanna and John Constantine kind of help out in the process too, but blow their cover, and they're kind of in a boat with them. They're kind of in a rough situation by the end of the issue. Very little Lex Luthor in this, though. I mean, he's in it, but very, very little. He doesn't exactly couldn't hold their lives in his hands, but whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fun, interesting stuff. Just got a kick out of this. It's a fun book. And it looks like we're building to having all the different storylines converge, or we're getting closer and closer to that. I still don't know what's going on with Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. They're just out of here right now, so we'll see if they ever show back up, or maybe that was just a one-off. Yeah. Oh. There's a Batman-Superman comic inside each box of specially marked cereal. Might have to go buy cereal for comic books. How old am I? Haley, how old am I? She just shakes her head at me. No love in this relationship. No love. No respect. I get no respect. Grant Morrison's 18 Days, issue number 9. Really, really cool issue. Like, normally this story is just too complicated and intricate for me to talk about and describe. This is actually pretty simple. So you have, let me find his name so I can get it right. You have Lord Bashima, who's the big white-haired dude, and he's a immortal super warrior. And then you have what the hell's his name? Arjuna, who's a great warrior, super warrior in his own right, that was trained by Bashima on opposing sides of this battlefield as the second day of the battle begins. So this kid's been trained, and he's been told his whole life that he's going to be the greatest archer of all time. And they need him to kill Bashima in this battle because he is too powerful and he is decimating their forces. But he doesn't know if he can do that because the guy's kind of been like a father to him in a lot of ways. But he decides, all right, I'm going to make it happen. And he rushes across the battlefield to face him. It's just this epic freaking, oh my god, I would kill to have this in animation. Just so awesome. And he's got him, basically arrow pointed to his head, ready to pull. But Bashima just swats him out of the way like lightning, has a bunch of arrows pointed at him, and fires, but Krishna shows up at the last second, takes the arrow, and that's where we get this scene on the back. There are mortals, there are immortals, there are gods, and then there is me. And so Krishna is not harmed by the arrow. It's just really, really freaking cool scene, just seeing this dude storm across the battlefield to go fight Bashima. And Bashima, can't believe that he just hit Krishna with an arrow, and it's like, oh my god, alright, fine. You two go back to your side, and I'm not going to have mercy again, blah, blah, blah. Just really, really cool. This is just nice, epic fight kind of stuff that I was looking forward to. And the next issue is getting day 3 of the battle. So it looks like we're getting a lot of the exposition out of the way now, and we're just really getting into the actual war, which is just really cool. Alright, final issue of the week before we get to trade talk, and that is Doctor Who, the 8th Doctor, number 4. I like this one. It had like a, how do I put this? It had like a mystical kind of feel, but then as always with Doctor Who, it turns out to be aliens. So, how to describe this? Basically, there's a house under attack by like these mystical looking tree creatures. The Doctor, his assistant, and a little kid escape. And the kid tells him the story of like an ancient curse on their house, blah, blah, blah. And how only a mystical amulet can defeat the monsters. Well, the Doctor finds the stones that are discussed in this legend, and finds the stones and determines that it's actually a ship that had implanted itself in the ground with aliens in it that were in stasis. And so originally when they came to attack in approximately 200 years ago, the key was used to put them back in stasis for another 200 years. And so that's what they have to do every 200 years, is use this like key thing. And I don't know, I just thought that was a nice, clever little story, and I'm curious to see where this all, wraps up at, because it seems like they're indicating that the next issue will kind of connect all these separate story arcs together. We'll see, though. Or not story arcs, just separate stories. I don't know. It's just a fun thing. I just like the 8th Doctor, so it's fun to see how it all comes together and stuff. Not much to say about it. I enjoyed it as a simple one-off story, I guess. This image on the back really does make me want to go get this audio story. 8th Doctor River Song, that's pretty cool. I don't know how it would ever make any sense, but 8th Doctor and River Song, that's pretty awesome. Oh well. I will return momentarily. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Sorry about that, I just need a quick break. Anyway, so Star Wars Volume 2. I enjoyed this quite a bit, actually. I like how just they've had a million adventures and everything has gone completely wrong every time in between the two films. That's brilliant. Just nothing works out ever. That's nice for them. And we get some cool little moments here. But we start out with some history of what was going on with Obi-Wan between episodes 3 and 4. And it's just like a little bit about his life, of how he had to kind of give up being a Jedi, give up protecting the weak, in order to, maintain his cover and be able to help Luke. That's just a neat story. It doesn't, at least as far as I can tell, really reveal anything about what's going on with Luke now. Or set anything up right now. Get some stuff that continues all the shit with Han Solo and his wife. And Luke is searching for a way to get to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. In doing so, he reveals that he has a lightsaber, which is a highly prized artifact on that planet. And this puts him in trouble because now he's basically kidnapped by one of the Hutts and put into kind of a gladiatorial game thing as the last Jedi. And he needs to be trained a bit as a Jedi in order to do this. He's able to open holocrons, too, to prove that he is actually a Jedi. Yeah, he's kind of trained by, like, an agent of the Empire that's secretly there. Chewbacca's gone looking for Luke in this interim, and eventually Han shows up too, and they're all working on busting Luke out while he's in the middle of a fight with some kind of monster. You know, it's Star Wars. What else happens? Apparently the knowledge to build a lightsaber kind of died with the Jedi, which is interesting. Like, they still have a lot of lightsabers. People have found them, but every couple years one dies. And they just have no idea how to fix it, which is neat. So anyway, Han and Leia show up to help Luke out. And it's an absolute shitstorm. Everything's going wrong all at once. But there's just this really cool scene. There's like a dampening field or whatever that makes it so blasters don't work. And lightsabers are the only option. Which actually makes sense since lightsabers are not lasers. And Han, Leia, and Chewie get lightsabers, so we get this really, really awesome panel. That should have just been the cover. I would have immediately bought that if that was the cover. Just, come on. How is that not the most awesome thing ever? Chewie with the red and green, or blue and green lightsaber, that's just epic. And yeah, I don't know, I thoroughly enjoyed that about this. It was just really, really cool. The guy that was working for the Empire has a communication with Vader. He's like, what did you learn of this boy? Did he happen to mention his name? No, my lord, he did not. All I know is that he is a young and untrained, more brave than wise, not without gifts. He is not a Jedi, not yet, but given time, he will be crushed, just like the rest of the rebellion. Tell me what else you learned of this boy, Sergeant Creel. Tell me everything. Oh, it's just really cool. So all Luke has done so far is just screw up fantastically, left and right, and put Vader closer and closer on his trail, which is great. But just keeps getting away in the nick of time. That's just all great setup for... It really is adding to the emotion behind the battle at the end of Empire Strikes Back. I am curious when we're going to get to Empire, though. Because the whole situation with Han Solo, Leia, and Han's wife, which is resolved, and I don't know, I thought it was just kind of silly, so I'm not even going to bother talking about it. That whole situation is, like, spawned out of the rebellion needing to find a new base of operations. So I'm curious exactly where the eventually the rebellion sets up on Hoth, and so I'm curious when that's going to happen. It has to be soon. Like, how long can they possibly dick around between episodes 4 and 5 before we get to episode 5? I'm just curious when that's going to occur. And I mean, it's not like there's no rush for it. Obviously, you can tell as many stories as you want between those two. But I'm just curious how much time it's going to take, or maybe they're going to do like a actual time, because there was episode 1 is 78, 77, or not episode 1. Episode 4 is 77, and then I know episode 6 is 83, so I think episode 5 was 80. It's hard to tell, but I don't know, maybe they're going to do real time, 3 years between each or so. I don't know. I'm just curious to see how it continues. I'm really curious to see what they do with Luke in between episodes 5 and 6 more than anything else, to be honest. I just really, really like Luke in episode 6, so I'm curious how he comes back from, losing his hand and deals with all that, especially since you can't do Yoda in that time frame. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all goes. As far as this book itself, it's just a lot of fun, and like, it's one of those things, it's mostly plot. There's no like deeper meanings or anything for me to talk about. And I enjoyed it as awesome, Star Wars-y kind of fun, and that's all I can really say about it. As far as the issue of stakes go, because I've talked about that a lot with these Star Wars books set between 4 and 5. There is some level of stakes here. I mean, obviously Luke isn't going to die in this or anything. And none of the main crew is going to die. But could something have happened to Luke that... let me rephrase that. It's interesting to see Luke getting bits and pieces of Jedi training from what's left of the Order. It's interesting to see Luke kind of trying to search out this culture, and it's really interesting to see some of the stuff Obi-Wan was dealing with. I don't know. Otherwise, there's not much for me to say. The Hutt villain in this was really cool because, like, everyone just assumes Hutts are, like, fat and useless and lethargic and everything, but he is not. What's the line he has? Get back, regroup outside. What are you, crazy? We don't need blasters to take down one fat old... You should have warned them, Game Master. Now they'll learn the hard way. Gracchus isn't like the other Hutts. The most dangerous thing in Gracchus's arena isn't some savage beast or mindless monster. It's Gracchus. And so we have like a buff Hutt. I really like that with robo legs. That's really cool to me. Alex and I once were discussing on Twitter, the implication you get with watching Jabba the Hutt in Return of the Jedi is that, he's a glutton. He's fat and disgusting because that's all he does is drink and eat and just live a life of complete debauchery. But then in other stuff, since then we've seen, the Hutts are actually all that way. Clone Wars does a lot of stuff with the Hutts, and, Jabba's mother is 10 times fatter than he is. So, like, you can't have a Hutt not be kind of big now in Star Wars canon, even though that probably wasn't originally their intent. It's just what people ran with. And also, does anyone really... Can you, in your mind, actually picture a skinny Hutt? Because I can't. I just have no conception of what that would possibly look like. So it's nice to see kind of a turn on that, though, of, okay, he looks kind of fat. It's like a Kingpin thing. He looks kind of fat and lumbery, but really he's just super strong and you know, he's a buff son of a bitch. I really like that. That's really cool. Anyway. A must-read for any enthusiast, Alex. Oh, that's funny. Kaboom.com says that, so fair enough. I don't know, I think Alex actually was reading this book. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Fun stuff, though. It's just very, very enjoyable. In a really, really basic way, honestly. There's not a ton to say about it beyond that, so I'll go ahead and stop talking now. Except to say that if you have any single-issue comic books that are coming out month to month that you would like to see me pick up and read, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I promise to pick up at least one issue and give you my thoughts. If I like it enough, I will add it to my pull list. Or if you have any trades or graphic novels that you would like me to read and look into, please leave that in the comments below as well. I will do my best to keep an eye out and get a hold of them. I got actually a couple trades to get through right now. In 1 second, I'll show you something. Right now, by request, someone said to pick up Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 6, Venom. They left that on one of my older videos where I was talking about the two Venom trades a couple months back that I did, and I'll leave links to those below in the description as well. But someone asked for me to pick this up, so I kept an eye out for it for a couple months, and I found it finally, and here it is. I also got some Black Panther books that I'm going to start getting into. And yeah, that'll be going on. Eventually I'm going to get to Green Lantern Godfall. I just haven't been in much of a Green Lantern mood. I got a lot of space stuff going on right now. And so I need to get back in a Green Lantern state of mind. So we'll see when that happens. But anyway, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Until next time.